President Obama was pushing his jobs plan. Apparently, everybody in Washington was absolutely convinced that it was not passable. Why? Because the Republicans were against it. Well, then obviously you have to bow your head. And in fact, the Republicans immediately went on the warpath against it. Here's a senior GOP Senate aide. He said, quote, "It was designed to fail from the start. This is Harry Truman running against Congress in 1948. Of course, Truman ran against the do-nothing Congress. And they're saying here, Obama knew it wasn't going to pass. He didn't even get our permission on half this stuff, right? So this is just a political trick. Well, to go along with that, Majority Leader Eric Cantor for the Republicans says, quote, "With millions of people out of work, I hope that the president will put the brakes on his campaign-style speeches and work with Congress on areas where there's bipartisan support to spur economic growth and get people back to work." In other words, drop all of your side's arguments, do unilateral disarmament. How dare you make an argument against us and say that we are wrong? Didn't we teach you to bow your head? No. This kind of campaigning is unacceptable, right? And we just give us the parts of the bill that we like, the tax cuts, etc., and shut up about the rest, right? But here's a curious, and by the way, the press has absolutely gone along with this. It's like they take it out of the RNC and they immediately give it to the stenographers in the media who go, okay, that's a talking point. Everybody write it down. Look at Julie Pace, who did an embarrassing story about this at the Associated Press. She said, the approach, meaning Obama trying to sell his plan, the approach puts the Obama administration at risk of appearing to use the president's $447 billion jobs bill as a political weapon rather than a means of fixing the nation's economic woes and putting Americans back to work. Like, he's actually trying to pass his plan. Well, how dare you? No. It's a political trick. The Republicans are 100% right. This is not passable. The Republicans have not agreed to it. Go back to doing what the Republicans told you to do. Otherwise, we're going to label you in the press as a guy who's only interested in politics, right? But guess what happened? As he went out there and campaigned for this, well, you look at this. After 3 weeks of advocacy by the president, support for the jobs bill has grown by nearly 10%. So it worked. What we have been counseling all along, that if you actually take the fight to them, if you actually present your case, how many times have you heard me say that? If you actually go around the country challenging them and presenting your ideas, you can actually rally the people behind you. And it moved the numbers by 10%. That's a huge movement in favor of the jobs bill, okay? So it turns out that the press and the Republicans, they were, of course, full of it. This is how you win. How do I know that? It's based on experience. George Bush used to do this all the time. He didn't go looking for agreements with the Democrats. He went around the country kicking their ass. He'd go district by district and say, you better vote with me, otherwise on Iraq or on tax cuts, otherwise you're going to get defeated. And he would rally those people. Even George Bush, that simpleton, could do this. It works. It's politics 101. Finally, they're doing it. So, success, right? Wrong. Doesn't matter, because the Democrats that are in the middle of this, and then the Republicans in the Senate, and certainly the Republicans in the House, they're not going to let it pass. It doesn't matter how popular it is with the American people, because they don't report to the American people. They report to their corporate bosses, who want those damn tax cuts and who are not interested in helping the middle class or anyone get a job. So when they go up for a vote, the president theoretically wins 51 to 48 on this bill proceeding in the Senate. It's not the vote on the entire bill yet, but it's just to proceed, right? Well, that's not really a win, because even though they got the majority, you need 60 votes to break a filibuster. They lost 2 Democrats, and of course they lost all the Republicans. So the filibuster by the Republicans of the jobs plan wins, and it doesn't even really make it out of the Senate. So what's the next part of the plan? Unfortunately, it is to do exactly what the Republicans wanted all along. The Huffington Post reports, for now, however, the White House and Senate Democratic leaders are already moving on to Plan B, mapping out which piece of the bill to break out and hold individual votes on. In other words, you win, Republicans. After we did our, all these rallies and we got the bill to be more popular, turns out we were kidding. We didn't really believe the bill could pass. We aren't going to continue that process. We aren't going to bring it to its conclusion. Instead, we're going to do what you asked us to do, which is to break apart the bill so you can vote on the parts that you like and ignore the parts you don't like. okay? And here is the list of things that the Republicans and the Democrats can agree to. Extending the payroll tax cut is a possibility. Now it's a tax cut, so the Republicans are more likely to do it. It gives some of the middle class a break, and so it's something that the Democrats are theoretically winning on, but it's actually a tax cut, and in fact, it takes money out of the Social Security system, so I don't think it's a win at all, and a lot of the liberals and progressives are opposed to it, but the establishment Democrats and Republicans are in favor of it, so it'll probably win. Renewing unemployment compensation for another year, at least that's some sort of relief, but here comes the goodies. So they also want to provide funds to prevent teacher layoffs and helping veterans to find work, and they want to do infrastructure investment. Okay, so some of that stuff, the infrastructure investment, gets money to the Republicans for the contracts that their corporations want to do that. Some of that is just too hard to resist, whether it's the teachers or the cops politically. So there's some good things mixed in there, right? But what's the main problem? You're going to be shocked to find out that the main problem is, well, that you pay for it by tax increases to the rich. And the Republicans and the Democrats, in reality, have no interest in that. So it's just games. So Democrats play games. They say, if you put us in charge, we'll definitely tax the rich. Yeah, that's what you did in 2008, right? Except you cut taxes on the rich. So you were lying. You didn't do that at all. They say, but next time, if you give us overwhelming majorities, next time we might increase taxes on the rich. So there's some decency and fairness. But in this case, nope, again, taxes for the rich, out the window, gone. Not going to do it. Okay, so in the end, what do the Republicans get? Exactly, close to exactly what they wanted.